everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So the great news is that sales are really strong for November, and so let's look at the numbers. But again, our systems are like merging in this new back end thing, and the numbers are kind of messed up, but I definitely know that the sales are correct. So looking at what happened last week, Georgetown had 15 sales. That's a huge week. I actually don't know the last time we saw 15 sales. So I think the message is sort of getting out, and people are getting the vibe that pricing is probably going to go up next year because interest rates are dropping. And so we are seeing a somewhat busier November than we are used to. So 15 sales is really great. As I talked about last week, the new listing numbers are completely messed up. There's some back end stuff going on, and I just don't really want to report the new listings because it just doesn't feel accurate in the system, and like I'm trying to piece it together, but we essentially have two systems merging and there's lots of duplications. Things are coming up that aren't actually new. It's very confusing. So I'm skipping until this is sorted out at the start of December. I'm skipping reporting on the new listings. There are still new listings trickling in, absolutely. It is starting to slow down for November, which we're used to. So that is also good news for our overall numbers. In Acton this week, there was 2 sales, and then in all our other markets, Glen Williams, Limehouse, and the rural market, there was no sales this week. The other promising number that I'm pretty sure is accurate that I can report are the properties that are doing price changes and coming off the market. So last week, we actually had 14 properties exit the market. That is a huge week. So we had a week where we had very high sales and we had very high number of properties coming off the market. So that will reflect in our inventory numbers. And then we did have 8 properties that relisted at a lower price and 1 property that relisted at the same price. But either way, we are needing these weeks of people exiting the markets and sales happening to really impact our inventory. So that brings us into our inventory numbers. Last week we were at 204 active listings. We are finally under the 200 mark, and like significantly. I hope these numbers are accurate because it's a bit of a mess in our back end system right now, but we are down to 184 active listings in Halton Hills. This is a reminder that I take out any new builds, anything that is builder or, going to be built. Like there's a bunch of condos right now that are not built. I take those out. They're not part of our resale market, in my opinion. So a lot of the stuff that is not built, I take out, and that also brings our numbers down a bit compared to like if you were to look on realtor.ca. So we are at 184 active listings this week. That is our lowest inventory in like so long, like since the spring. So I'm very excited that we are finally back and the numbers are going in the direction that we need them to be going in, and that they always trend in to set us up for a good Q1 the following year. Georgetown this week dropped significantly from 114 to 103 active listings. This is a combination of the high sales week as well as properties exiting the market, and we definitely can feel it here, which is so great. Looking at our price points, under 800,000 is down to 13 active listings. That pocket has been busier. 800 to $1 million remained the same this week at 16 active listings, but that is still like half of where we were like 2 months ago. So huge improvement in terms of inventory levels there. 1 to 1.5 million is at 50 active listings this week, still sitting pretty high. That's always our pocket that sits the highest. Hopefully in the middle of December, the rules are changing and you can get an insured mortgage up to 1.5 million. Right now it's at $1 million. So I suspect come December, we are going to start to see a lot more activity in the 1.5 million and under pocket, because now it opens up to a whole new buying pool that, you can have 10% down and buy a house at 1.4 million, whereas you couldn't do that over $1 million previously. So I do think that's going to be another shift in our market that's really going to pick things up in the new year. 1.5 million plus is down slightly to 31 active listings. That is still sitting extremely high. So we have the rules changing in that lower price point, and I do think that this will fuel our higher price point because those people in the let's say 1.3, 1.4, their move up price point is that 1.5 to 2 million. So we should, if we see the market start picking up in 1 to 1.5, because you can now get an insured mortgage in that pocket, we should feel a positive trickle effect with the higher price point properties, because those people can move up. So it's going to be an interesting trend to watch as those rules come into place. And again, I do think we're going to see a lot of this inventory come down with properties exiting the market in the next 6 weeks. Looking at Acton this week, it remained the same at 21 active listings. Glen Williams is down slightly from 9 to 8. Limehouse remained the same at 4, and the rural market is down from 53 to 48 active listings. The rural market in particular has been really messed up with this change we're seeing. So I'm trying my best to weed through everything, make sure the numbers are accurate, but I'm feeling pretty good that I got them this week. So overall, it was a really positive week for where we want to be going. We saw a good amount of sales for November, so that's really great, but we also saw a lot of properties exiting the market, and our inventory dropped significantly this week. We really need to be creeping down, under 150 is where we're starting to get into busier territory and inventory starting to be scarce, but really the low 100s is when our market is really strong. And obviously in Georgetown, we're at 103 now, but anything around the 60 to 70 mark, our market is feeling very positive, and it's moving really well for sellers. So there's been not a lot of relief. The last 6 months have been extremely rough for sellers, but I do think what we're seeing week to week, that the market is shifting exactly how it does every year. And so I think it will be a strong 2025, especially the first 4 or 5 months of it. So I'm excited to see how the rest of the year goes in terms of inventory levels. But so far, I would say this is exactly what we thought was going to be happening. If only I wasn't dealing with all this technology stuff and systems merging, I'd be a lot more confident in all the other numbers. But either way, I definitely know the sales, and I think I've got the accurate active inventory levels down. So overall, great news. I will be back next Tuesday to see what continues to happen through November. Have a great week, everyone.